Ready? Pulling! What's up, it's Jimbo from ReadyCheck Pull, and this is our official boss guide for Guardian of the First Ones on Normal and Heroic. This fight is a straight up DPS and healer check. The mechanics are simple, but you have to do a ton of damage, and it does a ton of damage to you. The overall idea of the fight is that the boss's energy drains over time and it starts to wipe you once it hits 0 energy. But you can charge the boss back up with these energy cores around the room. You only get to use each core once though, so you have a limited amount of time before it just blows you up, hence the DPS check. Now let's get into the actual strategy. Use Bloodlust on pull and have the tanks bring the boss to the edge of one of these circles on the ground, while facing him away from the group, and the rest of the raid should stay close to the back of the boss. The boss starts with a good amount of energy, and while the boss has energy to drain, there are 4 mechanics to deal with. Number 1. If you get marked with this arrow and circle around you, quickly run it away from other players. It does damage to everyone within the circle after a couple seconds. Number 2. Dodge the slow-moving sentry orbs that move randomly around the boss. Standing under one does light dot damage and pacifies you, so they're more of an annoyance than a threat. Number 3. Dodge the boss's randomly facing frontal. Getting hit by it does a ton of damage and puts a nasty dot on you and stuns you for a few seconds. This is really rough to get hit by and it comes out super quick, so you need to be ready. And number 4, which involves the tanks. Unfortunately, Blizzard changed this mechanic a lot after testing, so we'll give more details about it in the pinned comment below once the fight is live. But the boss occasionally casts a combination of abilities on the current tank. On normal, the only ability is Sunder, which does a ton of physical damage in a small circle around the tank and massively increases damage taken from other Sunders for a few seconds. This is why the boss should be faced away from the group. As soon as Sunder hits, the current tank should step aside and the other tank should quickly taunt the boss and move it into position for the next Sunder. On Heroic, there's an additional ability that gets mixed in called Obliterate. This cast does a ton of physical damage to the tank, but also does even more magic damage in a small circle around the tank. This magic damage can be split between multiple players, so when Obliterate is cast, the tank should quickly move to where it can be soaked by the raid. However, this also applies a debuff to everyone it hits, massively increasing damage taken by other Obliterates for a few seconds. So a different set of people will need to soak if there's a second Obliterate in the combo. You might need to pre-assign half of your raid to soak each one. When the boss gets to 0 energy, it starts chain casting Purging Protocol, which is a long cast that does a ton of damage to the raid. Each cast that goes off massively increases the damage of the next cast, so it will wipe you pretty quickly, but you'll definitely want to try to live 2 or more with raid cooldowns in order to stretch the fight out a bit longer. The only way to stop this cast is by moving the boss into a circle around the energy cores, which starts charging the boss's energy back up. As soon as you do this though, the core starts blasting anyone inside of its circle with a ridiculous amount of damage, so everyone needs to be already in the circle when this starts and stay in the circle until the charging is over. The raid still takes significant damage from the core while inside of the circle, and the boss starts casting its regular abilities again, so this is a pretty scary situation. The raid should all try to stay toward one edge of the core circle so that the players who get targeted by other circles have a place to spread out to. When the core runs out of energy, it explodes after a couple seconds, doing a ton of damage to everyone and lethal damage to anyone too close to it. So everyone needs to quickly run away from the core, ideally towards the edge of the next core circle where the whole process repeats. And once you've used all 3 cores, there's no way to stop the Purging Protocol cast at 0 energy, and you just have to hope you do enough damage to kill the boss before it kills you. Alright, so quick recap. Bloodlust on pull, keep the boss near a core circle on the ground, and keep the boss faced away from the raid. Spread out with the circles on random players, dodge the slow-moving floating orbs, dodge the boss's randomly facing frontal. Tanks, aim Sunder away to get hit alone and taunt swap after each Sunder. On Heroic, tanks aim Obliterate at the raid to split the magic damage and alternate soak groups if it casts it twice. Everyone move into the core circle along with the boss after at least 1 cast of Purging Protocol at 0 energy in order to stop the cast and charge the boss back up. And quickly run away from the core when it's depleted and starts to explode. And that's pretty much it. You can find our written version of these guides on Icy Veins linked below. Thanks again to all of our supporters on Patreon for making this guide possible. Like, subscribe, and join our Discord to keep up with everything ReadyCheck Pull. Peace.